Hi, my name is Ngaatendwe Kodogo, a Year 2 student from the Republic of Zimbabwe. I serve in the ALAMAU as the Director of Research and Delegate Preparation, and I'm going to be taking you through the rules of procedure that we are going to be using at the ALAMAU conference. So what are rules of procedure? These are guidelines that we use at the committee sessions to govern how committees actually function and run. And why do we have this? This is actually to ensure fairness and inclusivity and to facilitate effective debate so that everyone is on the same ground and we can also move forward. Now, we will talk firstly the most important thing that all delegates are supposed to have, what we call diplomatic conduct. And this is the highest representation that you can actually have. So there is certain conduct that we actually expect. And this includes respecting your fellow delegates, but also in turn, not using personal pronouns when you are speaking. So we expect that you're going to be using we or the delegate of this wishes to say this, or just using your country to refer to yourself. And when referring to other delegates, we actually ask you to refer to them with their country's name or as the delegate of this and this country. And we also expect that when addressing the dais, you stand up and say that the delegate of this would like to move a motion like this. Clapping, stomping, and cheering is not allowed during conferences unless the dais say so. So we have what are called motions and points at ALAMAU. Motions and points is what drives the committees. It's how delegates can communicate with the dais and other delegates. So the difference between points and motions is motions are things that affect the whole committee and how it's actually going to run. Points usually have to do with the delegate themselves. So now, what are motions? Motions, we have 11 motions at the ALAMAU conference that are going to affect how the committees run and how delegates are actually going to set it. So the most important motions that you have to know is opening the speakers list, setting the speaking time, a motion to open a moderated caucus, motion for an unmoderated caucus, and motion to close debate. These are the most important motions that you have, but we actually have others that are actually going to be found in the delegate preparation guides. Some of the points that we have at the LMAU conference include the point of personal privilege. This is usually to say, like, there's something affecting how I am, I feel uncomfortable as a delegate, and I want something to change about it. And some of the points at the point is point of general inquiry. This is, I don't know what's happening, what should I do right now? There's also the point of parliamentary inquiry. This is asking, what should I do? How do I approach the rules of procedure at this stage? And another point is a point of order. If someone is doing something that's not according to the rules of procedure, you can raise a point of order. There's also a point of information. Usually after a delegate has given their speech, you can raise a point of information to ask about the substance of their speech and gain more clarity about the speech. There's also a motion to approach, which we consider a point. This is when you have something you want to say to the dais, but you cannot say it in front of all other delegates. So you move to the dais and talk to them privately. So when it comes to debating in the committee session, we have two opportunities for debate. We have formal debate and informal debate. Formal debates take the shape in the general speaking list. So the general speaking list, you get to speak about the topic in general. Then the informal debate part comes in two parts. We have the moderated caucus, where you get to speak about the topic at hand, but more specifically for a specific thing about that topic. Then we also have what are called the unmoderated caucus. During the unmoderated caucus, rules of procedure are suspended, and you get to write your resolution, form allies and form blocks so that you actually come up with a resolution at the end of the day. So how do the committee sessions actually proceed? So when people get into a committee session, the committee chair is going to call the committee to order. And when they do so, everyone is expected to now get into their diplomatic conduct. The next stage is the roll call. The deputy chair is going to go through the roll call, where he's going to call upon each and every delegate. Delegates can respond to the roll call in two ways, either as present or present and voting. The moment you declare that you're present and voting, it means you cannot abstain from all substantive votes. After the roll call, the moderator is going to do what's called a declaration of margins. So simply a declaration of margins is saying that we have 20 delegates in this room. So for a qualified majority, we need these people, and a simple majority, we need these people. So the difference between a simple majority and a qualified majority. A simple majority is just 50% plus one of the delegates in the room. A qualified majority is 2/3 of the delegates in the room, and usually more substantive votes require a 2/3, that's the qualified majority. After the roll call, there's going to be the motion to set agenda, where a delegate is going to raise their placard and set the agenda to the topic that the committee is going to be discussing. After setting the agenda, there's a motion to open the speakers list. After opening the speakers list, there's also the motion to set the speaking time. And during this time, we're now in the general speaking list, where delegates can give their opening speeches on the general stance they have on the topic at hand. So after the moderated caucuses and unmoderated caucuses, we're going to move into the voting procedure. And after the voting procedure, we're also eventually going to adjourn debate, and the committee session for ALAMAU 2024 will be done. Now, at the ALAMAU conference, we have two types of votes. We have the procedural vote and the substantive vote. The substantive vote pertains to the content and matter that's actually being discussed in the committee, and this will include the resolution that delegates are actually going to pass. The procedural votes include the technical aspect of how the committee is proceeding. Should the committee go to this before they go to this? And another example for that is an unmoderated caucus. And with that, we hope we have prepared you well for ALAMAU 2024.